Stop, stop, stop. Okay, let's go. Stop. Okay, perfect. Okay, still up, still up, still up. Ah, Michael, inside. Inside, 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 inside. Okay, perfect. Inside. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, quick, 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 quick. Okay, okay, down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, doucement. Down. Let's go, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay. Perfect, again. Yellow. Orange. Yellow. 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 Orange. Orange. Yellow. Allez, haut. Bleu. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, let's go. Stop. Okay, perfect. Okay, still up, still up, still up. Ah, Michael, inside. Inside, 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 inside. Okay, perfect. Inside. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, quick, quick. Okay, okay, down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, use your arms. Use your arms. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Let's go, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, down. Okay. Perfect. Again. Yellow. Orange. Yellow. 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 Orange. Orange. Yellow. Allez, haut. Bleu. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, let's go. Stop. Okay, perfect. Okay, still up, still up, still up. Ah, Michael, inside. Inside, 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 inside. Okay, perfect. Inside. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, quick, 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 quick. Okay, okay, down. One, two. Okay. Yeah, use your arms. One, two, down. Let's go, turn. Okay. One, two, down. Okay, perfect. One, two, down. Okay. Perfect. Again. Yellow. Orange. Yellow. Orange. Yellow. Allez,
After a 6 years absence from the championship of home African nations, CHAN, the Super Eagles are back, and today they will be taking on no other than defending champions of this particular competition. Talking about the Teranga Lions of Senegal. It is Senegal up against Nigeria at the Amani Stadium in Zanzibar as Nigeria begin this quest for gold at the CHAN tournament. It is our fourth appearance at the competition. Remember, the Nigerian CHAN Eagles have won silver, have won bronze, and it's time to go for gold. And like the Nigerian Football Federation have tagged it, is back for gold. Can the CHAN Eagles are led by Eric Sekou Chel continue the euphoria of celebration across Nigeria? First, it was the Nigerian senior women's national team a few weeks ago where they became champions at the Women African Cup of Nations in Morocco, winning that one and also winning a new trophy. It was followed by the Nigerian D Tigress winning also again and winning a new trophy. A new trophy has been unveiled for this tournament, and just like their counterparts, the female side, the female football team did, can the Super Eagles B team also do the same? Welcome, of course, to Football Temple. This is the live coverage of the CHAN 2024, and it's Nigeria up against the defending champions of this competition. Talking about no other team than Senegal. Before I give you the starting lineup of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, a quick recap that this tournament is strictly for players playing in their home country. Yes, that's to say that the players who are eligible to play in CHAN must be playing football in their domestic league and must be from that country. Not to say, for example, a player of Beninois, of course, an indigene playing football in Nigeria is not eligible to play for Nigeria or Benin, because at that point he becomes a foreign-based player. So it is only for players who are applying their trade back home here in Nigeria, and they are the only players who can play in this tournament. We'll quickly run through the Super Eagles starting lineup against the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Interesting one, of course, Lawal Mustafa starting goal for Nigeria. Of course, plays football for Shooting Stars out there in Ibadan. We've also got Akani, of course, Kudus Akani, who plays football for Kwara United, also in Nigeria as a starting lineup. In this particular one, of course, Akani Kudus, or Lamileko, I beg your pardon, plays football for Remo Stars in jersey number 2 for Nigeria. Captain of the side, Junior Harrison Undoka, will be sporting jersey number 4. Also plays football for MPFL side Remo Stars. Of course, Nganga Leonard Chukudalu used to play football for Ikorodu City just last season, but he's transferred to Remo Stars and will be playing for Remo Stars. So he's listed as a Remo Stars player, sporting jersey number 5. Jabbar Malik is also in the starting lineup for Nigeria, also playing for Remo Stars. There are 8 Remo Stars players in the starting lineup for Nigeria. Of course, Jabbar is in jersey number 7, and of course, Olamileko Adeboye, jersey number 10, also of Remo Stars. Sadiq Ismaila, of course, needs no introduction, has played at senior level for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Only recently was in the Super Eagles Unity Cup triumphant team out there in the UK, where, of course, Nigeria defeated Ghana and, of course, Jamaica in those 2 games to lift the Unity Cup 2025. He also starts, of course, for Nigeria. Surprisingly, he wears a jersey number 11 for a defender. We've also got in Nigeria as a starting lineup, of course, Abdurafiu Taiwo, who plays football for Rivers United. Of course, the defender is also in the starting lineup. Leading the line for Nigeria is no other than, of course, Abia Warrior striker Ijoma Anthony. Of course, jersey number 15. Tochukwu Raymond of Remo Stars is also in the starting lineup. And Sikiru Adewale Alimi in jersey number 19 starting for Nigeria, spearheading Nigeria's attack in what looks like Eric Chel has gone for a 4-3-3 formation in this particular one. So Eric Sekou Chel, of course, Nigeria's coach in this particular encounter, leads the line as the coach with his assistant, no other than Fidelis Ilechukwu. Daniel Ogumo, did I beg your pardon? And of course, Fidelis Ilechukwu as assistant coaches, respectively, in this particular one. On the bench for Nigeria, I've got, of course, Kayode Bankole is on the bench. For Nigeria, Stephen Menio, Otani Taufik, Obaje Godwin, Harrison Uzondo of Ikorodu City, Anas Yusuf of Nasarawa United, the top scorer in the NPFL. Of course, Haruna is also on the bench, plays football for Remo Stars. Alex Oyowa of Rivers United is also on the bench in this. Alex Oyowa, I beg your pardon, of Remo Stars is on the bench in this one. Shola Adelani of Ikorodu City is on the bench. Temitope Vincent plays football for Plateau United on the bench. And Nuruddin Badmos, the goalkeeper from Kwara United, is also on the bench. We await the entrance of the two teams right about now. We can see the flags of the two nations making its way to the pitch of players. We await the arrival of the players at the Amani Stadium out there in Zanzibar, Tanzania. About 15,000 capacity stadium for this particular one. Earlier in Nigerians group, it was 1-1 between, of course, Sudan and Congo. Hopefully, the Chan Eagles will be able to redeem themselves and get something out of this particular encounter. Remember, for Nigeria, we are going for gold. We are yet to win this competition at any of the four tournaments we've been to. The best result has been a semi-final, a final finish where we're beaten well by Morocco by 4-0 under, of course, no other than Salisu Yusuf, who was the coach of the Nigerian side. Let's quickly, of course, look at the Teranga Lions, of course, of Senegal, their starting lineup. We've got Mark Phillips Diop in goal for them. Seine Mbane Dia, a defender, jersey number 2. Musa Sise, a midfielder in jersey number 6. Libasa Guaye for them in jersey number 7. Christian Gomis in jersey number 9 for Senegal. Not forgetting Sajne Mokhtar Koite in jersey number 10. Joseph Ifra Sampo in jersey number 13. The captain of the side is Baye Asani Sis, jersey number 15. Also in that one. And not forgetting Mbaye Ali for them in jersey number 17. Ahmed Niang in jersey number 21. And Dauda Ba, the defender, in jersey number 20 for the Teranga Lions of Senegal. The Senegalese team are the defending champion at this particular tournament. And for the Super Eagles, of course, the Chan Eagles or the Eagles B team, they have their work cut out for them against a very tough side in Senegal, and will need to do their best in this particular encounter. Just to run you through some of the games that have happened so far at the Chan tournament. It kicked off. Remember, the tournament is taking place in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda for this edition. It is 3 countries in East Africa hosting this one. A new trophy for this competition also for Tanzania. Of course, they defeated Burkina Faso 2-0 in their first game of the competition by 2-0. Of course, Kenya also pipped DR Congo by 1-0. Morocco pipped Angola by 2-0. Also, Madagascar and Mauritania played at a goalless draw in Group B. While, of course, Niger and Guinea, it was Niger who had the better of Guinea by a goal. I beg your pardon, Guinea who had the better of Niger by 1-0. And of course, Algeria smashed the other host nation, Uganda, by 3-0 in that one. Earlier, like I said, in Nigerians group, it was Congo 1, Sudan 1. We're right about now seeing the players coming on the field of play. And of course, it's Nigeria who will be taking on the Teranga Lions of Senegal. For Nigeria to reach this stage, the Nigerian team, talking about the Chan Eagles, did, of course, defeat Ghana over both legs by 3-1 on aggregate to qualify for the 2024 Chan tournament. We will now, of course, wait for the national anthem of both nations. First will be the national anthem with the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Well, the Senegalese national anthem going on there as we await the kickoff for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, led by Eric Sekuchel. 23 players listed. Interestingly, core of the players for Nigeria coming from Remo Stars. And when, of course, Eric Chel was asked, his answers were straight, that he's taking the players from the best team in Nigeria, and the best team currently is Remo Stars, so he sees no excuse in not taking them. Now the national anthem of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I beg your pardon. Hopefully the Nigerian team will stand in brotherhood and will be able to conquer a very strong Senegalese side who want to defend and retain their title they won 2 years ago. First shots there, done and dusted. The national anthem of Nigeria will now await the, of course, match pleasantries led by Nigerian captain Duka Jr. From the referees too, of course, the Senegalese players. Of course, once again, the Senegalese team, Diouf in goal for them. They've gone for a 4-4-2 formation for Senegal, with Kyote and Gomis leading the line for them. Watch out for jersey number 10 and 9 for the Senegalese team. Of course, just to go down memory lane, DR Congo won the first edition of the CHAN tournament, which took place in 2009, hosted there by Ivory Coast, and it was the Congolese who were emerged victorious after beating Ghana by 2-0 in the final. 2 years later, saw Sudan host the competition, and it was Tunisia who won that one, beating Angola by 3-0 in the final. Today's center referee, of course, comes from Egypt. The VAR team are also from Egypt, and Ethiopia, Mahmoud Ashhor from Egypt, and Bamlak from Ethiopia. Back to history, in 2014, hosted by South Africa, it was Libya who defeated Ghana on penalties by 4-3 to claim their own first title on the home front for the CHAN tournament. In 2016, hosted by Rwanda, it was DR Congo who won their second edition, beating Mali by 3-0 in the final. In 2018, Morocco hosted, and of course Morocco won, thrashing Nigeria in the final by 4-0. And of course in 2020, it was Cameroon who hosted and Morocco won it before. Algeria hosted in 2022, and it was Senegal who defeated Algeria on penalties by 5-4 on penalties after the regulation time ended goalless. Of course, Nigeria have also gone for a 4-4-2 formation, so it means Anthony Joma and the Nigerian coach, I beg your pardon, and of course Sikro Alimi will lead the line for Nigeria in a straight 4-4-2 formation. So the two teams have gone for a similar formation, and Eric Sekuchel, the coach for Nigeria, his first major tournament with Nigeria, even though he's won the Unity Cup, but this will be his first major tournament. Of course, waiting my commentator who will be joining us in a few minutes from now as we take you through the first game of Nigeria as the Super Eagles of Nigeria take on Senegal for the championship of home African nations. It is the Senegalese who are in all white against the Nigerian side who are in green and black, and it's Senegal who take the kickoff in this particular game. Senegalese are playing from right to left. Throwing for Nigeria. Nigeria's right back Sadiq Ismail to take. Ball falls to the Senegalese. One there back the Nigerian midfield. Ismail. Good play there. Free kick for Nigeria. Early free kick for the Chan Eagles. The Senegalese have possession back with the ball. Throwing for Senegal. Leonard Ngenge, formerly of Ikorodu City. Of course, now with Remo Stars. Throwing for Nigeria. Taking long there. But both sides are matching themselves in the opening exchanges here. And it's Nigeria with another throw in. Taiwo takes a long one. But the Senegalese are no strangers. Defending champion. Just one from the last tournament remain for them in this one. Just one player from the last tournament that they won is in the squad. Good defending there. Cleared out for a Nigerian throw-in. Remember, the Chan Eagles had 2 friendly games before this competition. A double-header friendly against Zanzibar. The first one ended goalless, and the second one, we threw out a 2-goal lead, and the game ended 2-2 in that particular one, where Anas Yusuf among the goal scorers for Nigeria. But for Anas, 18 goals in the MPFL. He starts on the bench, and it's Ijoma Anthony and Sikro Alimi who are preferred to lead the line for Nigeria. Eliferev exchange for Nigeria. Ngenge loses his foot in there. Senegal is moving on the right-hand side. Close up there by the Nigerian defense. Well, I've got my man joining me in the studio right now. Of course, we did this for the Super Falcons at the Women African Cup of Nations, and he ended with Nigeria winning. Hopefully, we can do this for the Chan Eagles, because at least one thing is certain: the president has a lot of $150,000, $100 in his pocket, and he's got a lot to share. Hopefully, the Chan Eagles will take it from there. Israel joins me. Israel, we've seen about 5 minutes so far in this particular encounter. What's your take? Of course, Israel will take us through the commentary of this game, while I will, of course, be his co-commentator. Israel, do your thing.
So far, so well. It's when you're playing against the defending champions, you will not expect to have the lines open for you to have those penetrative passes. You definitely struggle. You try as much as possible to keep a lot of the ball so that you can have most of the chances, and then look for that defense splitting passes to get one opener.
Well, of course, look for one defense splitting pass to get the opener. Sadiq Ismail there with the ball.
And so far, it's the action right at the Aman Stadium in Tanzania with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I almost said Super Falcons of Nigeria.
We are getting used to success. So, so the Super Falcons is always in our mouth.
Yes, and when you see the Tigers do it for the Afro Basket, it's something. This game is not just about doing well in the Chan. It's most of the pressure is already on the Super Eagles, having seen their female counterparts come back home with laurel for the 10th time, and then for the the Tigress coming back 5 times in a row and 7 in total. All right, back into the scene of play where Tochukwu is the culprit for an infringement and almost double-legged challenge there. Would be lucky not
Yellow
to...
card, an early yellow card for Nigeria already. That's surprising, you know. First tackle for Tochukwu Raymond, and he's got into the referee's bad book, so you should watch it.
All right, a long ball from the Senegalese goalkeeper. Almost clumsy one from the Nigerian defender. As a battle right at the center of the pitch. Battle to control the pace and the rhythm of the game. A true ball there, and can Sadiq handle? And straight into the path of the goalkeeper, Mustafa, the sunshine, the shooting star man, right starting up in between the sticks. And you could see Sadiq a bit off the line, already beaten by that one. And then the cross, no one to connect in the box, and an easy grip for Mustafa. Quick pass to find Adedayo. Poor one from Sikiru Alimi trying to get the flick. And it's the Senegalese on the counter attack. The Teranga Lions of Senegal pushing forward to get the opener here. The cut back in. No penalty, says the referee. And Taiwo keeps the ball alive. Now, Super Eagles have possession here. Is Ismail. Fair play. The man still down. Are we going to really see a potential VAR check?
Well, I think it was a fair challenge on Guayi, of course, by the Nigerian defense line. Nothing really to worry about. Leon Ngenge did track his man well. In that one, definitely looked like a very fair challenge and nothing suspicious in that one. Talking about, of course, Abdurrafiu Taiwo also running his man, and looked like there was absolutely no contact, even though the knee shows a very slight contact, but I don't think it's enough to want to even ask the VAR to check for a possible penalty.
He had already even lost the ball.
Yeah,
he lost control of the ball before that.
He went to the floor, probably wanting more. From the center referee, was right at the spot of the action when it happened. The referee from Egypt is having none of it, and of course the player will probably stand up and take his walk to the touchline, and it's Nigeria who will just restart, or Senegal will restart with a fair play rather.
All right, great one for the Remo Stars captain, is also putting on the captain armband for the Super Eagles, Nduka Jr. Looking at the squad, we're having about 8 players all starting and all playing for Remo Stars, with just 3 from other clubs, Shooting Stars, Rivers United. We hope that combination right from the NPFL will be brought right into this tournament. A whole lot of hearsays from fans and all of that.
No, you know, it's quite surprising when you've got 8 out of 11 players, you know, starting, and 8 come from a particular club. Now, it's going to be difficult to have that conversation of is it because there's an Ogumodede in the team and all of that. But come on, you cannot exempt the fact that there's something not right. I'm not saying that it's of course Remo Stars are champions in the NPFL, but it's saying that these 8 players who probably are the best of the 11 and all 8 are starting leaves plenty of questions to ask for me, if you ask me. And the fact that some players that might have started in my Harrison Uzondu, for example, at left back, is not starting, and I'm surprised. For me, one of the best left back in the league, plays for Ikorodu City, but he's on the bench, and in his place is Leonard Ngenge, who starts, and I'm asking myself how. See, I'm not a fan of Sikiru Alimi. He's got experience, you know. He's played in the league for a long while and all of that, but Alimi is not the man if you want to ask for goals. We saw him in the CHAN qualifiers. He was flat-footed, even though he got one of the goals in the qualifiers against Ghana. But Alimi doesn't cut it for me personally. And I would have expected somebody else to start in place of Alimi, someone else who is hungry. Maybe an Anas Yusuf to start in place of Sikiru Alimi, but the coach knows why. But 8 of the 11 players coming from Remo Stars, come on, it's too much of a coincidence to say these are the 8 best players in the 11 to start. But come on, if the result works for Nigeria, if we can't see the synergy from playing together, then there's no problem. We'll take it 2 times every day, and of course even 3 times on Sunday for us to go on and win this game with these players on the field of play.
All right, a poor pass to give the ball away, and it's thrown to the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Ball back to Ngenge, who looks for the long ball, and Sikiru Alimi struggling to control the ball. Quick one, long ball. Controlled and in no man's land, but there's a Senegalese there to pick. Trying to pick at the first splitting pass, and the head work of Ngenge to get clash right on him. Is the decision a free kick or a throw in to Nigeria?
I think it's throwing for Senegal.
For Senegal, rather.
There was no challenge in it. Of course, the Senegalese player went but returned, and when Ngenge headed the ball, it was just on his own, and of course, no need for the referee to wonder for a free kick for Nigeria.
Okay, looking at the technicality of this game, Nigeria, who has the very best we've seen, was in 2018 when we got to the finals. Unfortunately, we were thrashed by 4-0 by the Moroccan side, the Atlas Lions of Morocco. And in 2014, we got the 3rd place. And so far, we are now up against the defending champions. It's going to be very, very tough. And at the same time, an exciting encounter.
Well, most definitely, you expect a team like Senegal to also give us a run for our money. They are defending champions. Like you rightly said, our best outing was in 2018 when we were beaten by Morocco by 4-0. Of course, Salisu Yusuf was the coach of Nigeria then, and of course all of the Anas saga, everything that happened with players who went to the tournament, offering 1 or 2 things, blah blah blah, to go and to be part of his team and all of that. But the bottom line was that team was, even against all odds, were able to do well for themselves. I don't want to be somebody who wants to cast early fears into the heart of Nigerians about this team. One thing is certain, that Eric Chell has got his work cut out for him. Whether we like it or not, it will be defined by performance like this, because he's the coach, and he must find a way for these boys to impress. He's been with the team for the longest. He's had several training sessions with them. He's had several closed-door campaigns with them in Ikene, and also when the team went to Zanzibar. He should be able to work his magic around these boys. If it's not clicking for the Super Eagles, let something click for the Chan Eagles at least. So for me, I think he's got his work cut out for him. The Senegalese team are not with their main coach. So it just tells you one thing, that for Eric Chell, this is part of his job and he has to make it work.
All right, back into the scene of action. It's Jabbar who's been dispossessed there. A battle right at the center of the turf, and the decision is throwing to Nigeria. Adedayo trying to impose himself into the game, struggling to control the pace and the rhythm of the flow. Ismail with a quick throw. Sekiro struggling again and is dispossessed with his. Nduka Jr. with the defensive work. And Akani brought down, and the referee signals a free kick. Player down, a clash right off his boots. Groaning in pain. And clearly will need the services of the medic. A hard challenge there. What a stamp.
That looked like a very nasty challenge there from the Senegalese defender on, of course, his opposing number 2. Of course, number 2 coming together, and it was Akani Kudus who had the worst of it there. I'm surprised the referee has not gone to check this. That looked like a very harsh challenge. We've seen even lesser challenge of sorts that has led to, and the referee has even gone for a throw, no free kick entirely for Nigeria. And for me, that should be a shocker.
Yeah, that was a careless tackle, and not just Nigeria having a free kick, that should have been a yellow card offense. But definitely, when you look at the position of the referee, the distance, he might not have gotten a clear view.
And that's why he has the VAR to call him to check. If a tackle is deemed not too good, that's why the video assistant referee comes into this one. But probably maybe they felt it was not too malicious in their own thinking.
Yeah, for a red card.
There's absolutely no need to check it for a review.
A counter attack here for Senegal, and it's Ngege who makes that recovery for Mustafa to clear.
Well, terrible clearance under pressure there for Mustafa Lawal. He should have done better with the ball at his feet. Even though the pressure was coming on him, he should have at least kicked the ball in a better position than, of course, shooting it.
Throwing from Samb. flex the ball in. We've not really seen clear-cut chances created in the opening 15 minutes of the game. It clearly looks like both sides are approaching the game with the same tactic. Hold on to the ball, knock as much as possible, and then struggle in the final third.
Well, I think when you look at the fact that both managers have gone for a 4-4-2 for Nigeria, it's Ijoma Anthony and, of course, Sikro Alimi will lead the line. Now, these two players are waiting for service that are not coming. They've tried to go to the midfield to find the services. It's also not coming. So it means that we'll probably need a line breaker. We need players who will then break the defense line of Senegal to be able to create that clear-cut chance for Nigeria. And for the Senegalese also, they have two tall men up front, you know. They're also playing a 4-4-2. They've got players who are tall players who probably want to work on Nigerian defense. And I like the way Ngenge has been very mobile in this game. You know, playing, switching position, and look at miscommunication from, of course, talking about Kudus and is that of Ijoma Anthony not being able to communicate with himself properly. That would have been a very good chance for Nigeria to have something in that one. But like I was saying with the Senegalese team, they've got two big men up front. What they're trying to do is to find the ball up, use their height advantage, put the ball on the floor and make Nigerian players run. And it's not working so far because I think Unduka and Ngenge have clearly read their tactics and are doing the needful. Instead of pushing out the Senegalese in the defense line, we are soaking them and letting them come to us and then find a way to push it out.
All right, back into the scene of action, and this current start is Nigeria 56% of ball possession and Senegalese 44%, but still a stalemate here. No clear-cut chance created, no goal scored. A beautiful pass from the player, and it's at the Lion, and the ball stopped. Great defending from Ngenge to clear the ball away to safety, and the ball still in dangerous position. Jabbar clears the ball, finds Tochuko. Cuts the ball back, and a poor pass. He had Sikiru, who was making the best of the run, and will have just find a way to slot the ball in between the lines. Clumsy challenge from Adedayo, as Nigeria will now concede from a free kick position.
Well, I think one must give kudos to Ngenge, Nigeria's best player so far in the opening. Beautiful defense tackle there, spots the marker well, end the ball, kept the ball back in play, not allowing the ball go out for a corner kick. If there's anything like tackle of the night so far, it has to be this tackle from Ngenge on the Senegalese player. Fantastic tackle there. It just tells you sometimes when some of these players drafted, young player, you know, from Ikorodu City, touted to be making a move to English football in the coming weeks. We understand in a few months from now, and that's why he signed a short contract with of course Remo Stars, pending where he will move outside of Nigeria. He will be part of Remo Stars team to the CAF Champions League this season, pending when he makes that move to English side Leeds, to where he further his career after playing football last season with MPFL side Ikorodu City.
What a beautiful pass. And it's Akani with a beautiful cut in.
But where's the movement from the Nigerian attacker? Waiting for Akani. You make the move for the player to give you the ball, but you are waiting.
Beautiful chance. The pass, no one right at the edge of the box. We are really struggling at the final third.
There seems to be a lack of communication, you know, between Ijoma and of course Sikro Alimi. There's no proper communication between both players, you know, up front for Nigeria, and that's where of course Coach Eric Chell just said they should both speak to themselves. You know, you are both leading the line. If one person is going, the other person should be at the other side to receive the ball. It's simple, you know. Both players should have a better understanding with themselves and probably link up well with Tochukwu Michael. Tochukwu, I beg your pardon, to also ensure that they also move this ball freely. The chances will come if we can create it. It's just to put the ball in the back of the net, create the better chances, and ensure that the pressure is not on our boys going into, of course, the break. If Senegalese score before us, the boys begin to get tense. The Senegalese have seen this before. I've done it before. I've won this competition for Nigeria. It's just a new phase.
Sadiqa with a cross into the box. Sikiru's header. Too lame to beat past the goalkeeper. Great cross from the right back, creating the overload on the right hand side of the defense line. Press from the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Back to the goalkeeper who finds his defensive partner. Great pass. The midfielder left unmarked. And it's Niang here. Finds the first splitting pass and the one-time attempt just sweep past the face of goal. That build up from behind. That creation of the space, the exchange of passes, and the first clear cut chance we're saying. And it's Niang again who is left unmarked by the overlapping Ismail Sadiq.
Well, I think beautiful play from Niang to find his striker, talking about Serge Koite. Sergin Koite, I beg your pardon, just number 10, controlled the ball perfectly, but just could not find the perfect angle to put the ball on target. But even though goalkeeper Mustafa Lawal looked like he had that ball covered, but it's just what the Senegalese can do on the attack. If the first chance they've really gotten to tear open, to split open, I beg your pardon, the Nigerian defense, and they did it very well. So it just tells you that the boys should watch it, and like you rightly mentioned, Sadiq Ismail should understand that his first primary job is a defender and not an attacker. So he needs to do the work of a defender first before doing the work of a fullback.
It's Niang again, the most dangerous man on the pitch for Senegal. Finds his man who's opting for a cross, a deep cross into the box, and it's the head of Ndoka Jr. who stops that attack. And still Senegal, still pressing forward. Looking for the space, is blocked. And the one-time touch from Niang, penalty appeal ignored, the clear ball to hand situation.
Senegalese are now asking all of the right questions in the last 3 minutes.
Ball gifted away again. Beautiful one to bid past the Nigerian players. Quick passes exchanged. The man obstructed, then the advantage cut back. Free kick, clash into the part of the young Senegalese forward, Daoudaba. And Ndoka Jr., the skipper, is the culprit.
Well, I think this is bad for Nigeria, and this is simply why. Now we've got our two centre backs who are on yellow card. Ndoka Jr. and of course Ngenge. Both on yellow card. Doesn't speak good for the Super Eagles at this point. It is not good enough, because if you got two of your defenders already booked in the opening 25 minutes, what it means is that we are working on a team rope. Now look at the run. The run started from the Senegalese, of course, our back line on the right hand side of their defense line through to the midfield, and there was absolutely no Nigerian player stopping that run. Ngenge was beaten for pace up until he got to Ndoka Jr. Now that's a terrible team performance. They shouldn't have let the ball get to Ndoka in the first place. Now the first thing is to protect your defense, and it just tells you that the Senegalese know that if they make overlapping runs, it could be a problem for Nigeria. We saw it on the left hand side. He almost gave them a chance. We've seen it on the right hand side, and it's cost Nigeria yet another yellow card.
Now I think one of the challenges is because of the fact that we are trying to play with two centre forwards, giving room for our left backs and our right backs to overlap. And then when they make these overlapping runs, you do not have either of the defensive midfielders adjusting as a makeshift left back or right back. So when you have teams who are trying to use the flanks, especially exploiting the pace of your left back and right backs, you must understand that they are not machines. When they are counter-attacking runs, they might not be able to track back. So you need the nearest midfielder to make that cut back. And by the time we do that, we've created a lot of space in the middle. So the midfielders are confused. Do they close the side, or do they close the spaces in the middle? And it's free kick to the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Could this be the dangerous one here? Great delivery into the box. The ball still looking around. And it's cleared by Jabbar. Niang goes for a long ball, and it's the head of the Nigerian left back that stops their attack on a potential note. Quick pass. Thus far is Senegal with 2 shots. Player dispossessed. It's free kick to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And it's Habib Taiwo that's the victim of that tackle. Quick one and no one.
Now you begin to ask yourself, what exactly was the tactics for that free kick?
Adedayo finds his man at the right hand side. Jabbar trying to beat past his man, escapes, beats one, looking for the space, trying to find Ismail, and the pass is intercepted by Niang, who is also dispossessed. Tochuku trying to find his man, Genge on defensive duty. Long ball forward. Force back to Niang. Musa dispossessed. Adedayo finds Akani. Ismail picks Tochuku right at the center of the pack. You are trying to beat from the rear here. Adedayo. Michael. Back to Ismail. Nigeria looking for the spaces. Throw in.
Well, I think it's time for Eric Chell to probably switch up something and probably go in a 4-3-3 formation, because it's clear that the front two are struggling for services. Probably push Ijoma to the flank, and of course Jabaru play the other flank for Nigeria there to give them more space and allow Sikro Alimi to lead fully from the center, so that we can have more space. One of our strengths is the fact that we know that Sadiq Ismail is a fantastic crosser of the ball. If we can get the ball more to let him do the crossing and probably find a Sikru who's got height, who can also put the ball in the back of the net with his head, is what we should begin to look at. Because right now, 4-4-2 looks like a struggle. And the two players are left there. The Senegalese players will toss the ball behind a bit and send it a long one. And it's a struggle for Nigerian players, and they can't seem to cope.
Musa finds a long pass and to find his man. And it's Mustafa with a dashing run to pick this with his. Ndoka Jr. almost gave away possession. I think it's very much possible to do a makeshift between 4-3-3 and 4-4-2. But what's going on is we are just playing a 4-4-2 formation bluntly. So whatever the scenario, whether it's attacking in an attacking scene or in the defensive scene, we are still trying to maintain the 4-4-2, and we're actually struggling. And then you could see that the Senegalese have pacey players who are adapting in between the games. They come in, they know how to go out wide, creating over and under loads on the field of play. And that pass falls to Ijoma Anthony, looking for the space. And it's Adedayo with the blast and straight into the path of the Senegalese defender. Free kick to Nigeria. Jabbar going for that rebound and was brought down. Careless corner kick. Tochuku take the set piece, some bits of action in the box. Some funny scenarios there. Great corner and the contact. All cleared. Back to Mustafa. Goes for a long ball. We're actually seeing players struggle with the technical aspect and the game reading aspect of the game. The physique is there, the strength is there. But when it comes to technique and tactics on the field of play, we're seeing our players really struggle to adapt into the pace of the game.
Well, it's obvious that, again, exposure is very key when it comes to things like this. And sometimes when you try to make case for home-based players back home in Nigeria, and this is why, you see 30 minutes already gone, it looks like the players are gasping for breath, look like they are struggling, and doing too much with the ball, when the ball should do the playing and not them themselves. But trying to, of course, impress too much, have the ball on their feet, trying to move the ball too much, could see them do a lot. Now, we've not been able to control this game. The Senegalese have had the game. I've attacked when they need to attack. I've controlled when they need to control. And I've defended when they also need to defend. For Nigeria, it's been pressing, and not able to do anything realistic. Nganga should be very, very careful. He's already on a yellow card. Of course, it's been won again by the central referee. And that's where discipline should also come in. And why we need to be careful is that we've got two centre backs, two defenders already on cards. And these are the two players who have shown the brightest so far for Nigeria. Doesn't speak good at all for the Nigerian team.
What a chance there for Cisse. And it was straight into the path of Ismail, the header. And it was just the back of Tochukwu that stops that.
I think the ball ricocheted off back Cisse. And luckily, of course, he hit Cisse. Couldn't get it on a clean with his head. But if he got that with his head, it could have been the first goal for Senegal there. Beautiful cross into the box for the Senegalese team, and the captain, Cisse, unable to direct his goal-bound effort to goal, and instead goes for a goal kick for Nigeria.
The ball back for Senegal, who are looking for the defensive splitting opportunity here. Poor pass. And it's Taiwo struggling and is dispossessed. Ndukat Jr. with the clearance. Musa. Beautiful footwork from the midfielder. Niang looking for the pass. Trying to find his man who opts to pick Cisse. Was dispossessed. Is Nigeria now on the counter-attack here. Jabbar. See Joma Anthony pressing forward, exploiting the pace. Poor final touch in the end. And now Senegal on the counter. The exploitation of the pace. And great recovery from Taiwo rather, who has been often stressed with the pace on the flank.
Well, good play there from, of course, Taiwo Afolabi for the Nigerian team. Had to, of course, do the needful, coming back to defend there. But it just tells you one thing: the Nigerian team are under pressure, and the Senegalese team are now coming at Nigeria constantly because they know that they've seen a threat, and they can find something good in this one. Again, I'm just wondering, we've got 8 players from one particular team starting in this game, and it doesn't look like this team is in sync. They're playing disjointed football. I don't understand. It's just like saying a Spanish national side is playing football and you have 7 Barcelona players. It will show vividly on their style of play. They know where the player will be at when it should be. They know what to do and when they should do it. The ball will do the talking. But for us, if we've got 8, in fact, if we've got 8 of the 10 outfield players being Remo Stars player, and we're having play like this, there's plenty to talk about in this one.
A defensive header. And now it's Nigeria looking for a counter-attacking option here. Long ball through. Clumsy challenge. And it's free kick to Nigeria. Quick start. Shove on Akani. Ismail, poor pass. Niang. Kauti, back to you.
His man Sekiru still on the run. And it's throwing to Nigeria. Great pressure from Sekiru Alimi to win the throwing for Nigeria.
You can see clearly that Eric Chell is happy. He's not happy. What he's seen so far from the boys. It's one thing to coach and it's one thing for the boys to now turn what you've taught them onto the field of play. And he's got his work really, really cut out for him in this one.
Still Chuku. Back to Taiwo. Habib Taiwo on the flank. Back to Unduka. Unduka holds the ball and picks Taiwo. Clearly looks like every single Nigerian player up front has been man-marked. Great ball technique from Ismail. And Ijoma Anthony is the culprit. Still struggling. We're not seeing synchronization of Sikiru and Ijoma Anthony up front.
Well, the coach will need to decide. He's got 5 attackers on the bench. Shola Adelani, of course, of Ikorodu City, had one of the best season on the flank. About 15 goals contribution, 18 goals contribution, I beg your pardon, playing for the newcomers in the league last season. Talking about Ikorodu City is an option that could come in on the flank. For Nigeria, of course, Alex Onyewa is also another option. Godin Obaji, another good option. Of course, don't forget the MPFL top scorer in Anas Yusuf, another option. And I think that's where the coach should look at. Now, Jabbar looks like a player out of place and out of sort. If the coach wants to go for a 4-3-3, probably pull out one of Ijoma Anthony or Sikru Alimi and then Jabbar and find a player and 2 players on the flank to put to ensure that we actually attack these guys, because we're not taking the fight to Senegal. Every time we go there, it's around half chances we are creating or trying to create something, and Eric Chell is clearly not happy. And this is where I would tell him categorically he's got his work cut out for him with these players.
I think we really need Adelani Shola here, because Shola Yusuf, because we need a little bit of flair on the flanks.
Shola has got flair.
Yeah, he has flair. You could see what Niang is in for Senegal. We need a little bit of flair. What we are struggling with is that we are playing a little bit of robotic football. This is how we want to approach the game. There's no flair. We are being robotic, too rigid about our approach into the game. And as a result, it has mounted a lot of pressure on Ngenge and Unduka Jr. Long ball forward. Sekiru dispossessed again. Clash. And it's Senegal who have the advantage here. Work on the flank, and it's Jabbar with a great tackle. Wins possession here. Sends the ball forward to find Sekiru Alimi, who is I think if there's any substitution that should be made in this game, it has to be Sekiru Alimi or Ijoma Anthony.
It just shows that, of course, again and again, who makes this decision for Eric Chell? As he's seen these players in training, this is the best set of players he's gone for. Now look at Sekiru Alimi there, with all of the experience he's got, playing also for the Super Eagles main team in the Unity Cup earlier, of course, this year in March. You could, of course, I beg your pardon, at the end of the season, a few months ago, when the season ended in May, June, you expect a player of that magnitude, of that experience, played football and seen it all, played with Shooting Stars at some point, also played with Remo Stars on the continent, to do better. Now, he's got a ball to his feet. The first thing he should do, because he knows he's not be able to turn there, shoot the ball from your marker. But unfortunately, he can't even properly hold on to the ball. And the Senegalese could easily dispose him of the ball. Now, clearly he's not working. Sekiru and Ijoma are not working. You don't need a soothsayer or a magician to tell you that what is happening so far after 40 minutes in this game is not looking right, for Nigeria. It is for Eric Chell to probably make his decision. Jabbar slipping on the ball there again, once again. It looks like the players of course, Kudus rather, looks like the players are playing the Nigerian league style. I don't want to use that word. Where they wait for ball, maybe ball come meet them for leg. It's clear. It just tells you that sometimes when these players, when we shout or scream for home-based players to be invited to the national team, coaches don't answer. Because I've watched 40 minutes of this game, and the only player I'm pretty impressed with is Ngenge, because he's going for the ball. He's not afraid. Every other player waiting for the ball at their feet. Just look at.
The first split-in pass opportunity. Teranga Lions right at the center of the box, and one sent to the skies. And it's goal kick. A terrible attempt on goal from Dauda Ba. Great work from the tackle line of the Teranga Lions of Senegal. And the Super Eagles struggling to fly high here. Long ball sent forward by Mustafa. Tochuku. And it's Jabbar. Gonna find his man. Dispossessed. Niang trying to get the better of Ismail. A battle of pace on the flank. Back to Musa. And opts to go back to find Ndai. Musa. And it's back to the goalkeeper, Mark Phillips Diouf. Long ball sends forward. Pass intercepted. The class right at the part of Tochuku, who is clash of 17s there with Yayali.
Terrible tackle from the Senegalese number 17. His hands were clearly up and not good enough, from the Senegalese player. Again, of course, it's African football. They say make you chop so that you go feel strong, you go feel stand strong. But that's not good enough. With his hands clearly out there, the VR should also be looking at that, at least for caution's sake, just for warning's sake, to let him know that your hand shouldn't be that high, when going for a tackle. That was clearly a hand to his face and not good enough.
Right, action continues after fair play, and it's thrown to the Nigerian side. Ismail. Tayo. Sends a long ball forward. Musa brought down. And Adedayo is the culprit here. Ball sends forward and almost gambled there, but Mustafa right there to grip with 2 minutes of other time. Still a stalemate. And with the Teranga Lions of Senegal with better off chances. And in games where you have forwards taking the spotlight. It's Leonard Ngenge who is at the spotlight for Nigeria with a whole lot of defensive work.
Well, I think it's visible, even to the blind, that Leonard Ngenge has been Nigeria's best player so far in this game. Of course, he's shown why he's one of the most sought out young talent in Nigeria. Stood his ground in this game so far. Done for me what I would describe as the tackle of the day earlier. Of course, when he stopped the Senegalese attack for what could have been the first goal for Senegal, and he's shown of all of in words like these, for everything way bad. Now only Leonard don't show say science day for Nigeria, and I'm happy for him personally. And I think it's just for other players to step up to the occasion and also be counted. Just look at him again, no mistake at all, putting the ball out there to ensure that Nigeria can see a chance to counter attack.
And it's Akani Kudus trying to keep the ball right in the Lions' den, almost dispossessed Jabbar, and it's the ball still kept alive. And it's Ngenge who makes it. Collection of the ball. And it is the end of the first half of this encounter. Still a stalemate here. No goals scored so far.
Well, the reaction of Super Eagles coach Eriksen Kuchel says it all. And in his head, he's like, what will I do? Now, I think I do have a worry a little bit, is the fact that every time that an instruction has been passed by, of course, to Eric Chell, it's not either of Daniel Ogumodede or Fidelis Ilechukwu. It's been his assistant coach, the foreign assistant is brought to the team. And, well, if my memories do serve me right, then Ogumodede and, of course, Fidelis Ilechukwu are supposed to be his first and second assistant. Now, this is where it comes. Now, these coaches understand
These players, yeah.
these players better, except of course if these two managers are not on the bench, because again, I've not seen any of them stand up.
Yes.
It's been his assistant has been standing up on all of this, so it just leaves mental
And when we look
desire.
at the CHAN qualifiers, when before we appointed Eric Chell as the coach of the Super Eagles, we saw how these players played in the CHAN qualifiers, how they exchanged passes. We saw how they trashed the likes of Ghana and other teams. And then now, not seeing them do that, it's a cause for worry.
Well, it's definitely a cause for worry. It's halftime at the Amani Stadium in Zanzibar, Tanzania. It is Senegal 0, Nigeria 0. Even though stats possession show that the Super Eagles have been better so far with 53% of possession compared to, of course, Senegal's 46%. Of course, huge 45 minutes and wait for Nigeria. 2 yellow cards for Nigeria. None are yet for Senegal. Of course, 9 fouls for Nigeria, 4 for Senegal. Each team has had 1 offside and 1 corner kick each, with 3 shots on target for both sides. With Nigeria surprisingly more standing shot on target, with Senegal yet to test the palm of our goalkeeper. Israel, if you are Eric Chell, what will you be changing at halftime?
The first person that has to go out of the pitch would be Sikiru Alimi or Ijoma Anthony.
Of course, Sikiru Alimi or Ijoma Anthony, for him, goes out first. But I think Eric Sekuchel needs to make that decision. We're going to break and we're back for the start of the second 45 minutes of this game. Remember, it's still the CHAN 2024. It's Nigeria taking on Senegal in their opening Group D encounter of this tournament. Earlier in Nigeria group, it was Congo 1, of course, Sudan 1. So for Nigeria, it just tells them that a win in this one puts them up there as top of the group and will put them with a bright chance of advancing to the next round of the competition. Don't go to Football Temple. We'll be back for the start of the second 45 minutes. Welcome back to the second 45 minutes of the 2024 CHAN, of course, tournament. It's Nigeria's first group game, and it's Nigeria up against the defending champion, the Senegal Lions of Senegal. The first half ended goalless at the Amani Stadium in Zanzibar, and of course, we're back for the second 45 minutes of the encounter. Israel, of course, early flurry, no changes by coach Eric Sekuchel. It looks like he's enjoying what is seen so far. Israel.
No, we had similar complaint in the WAFCON finals where we're down by 2 goals against Morocco, and we expected Justin Madugu to make some changes early in the game, but waited until the 53rd minute before he made those substitutions and eventually paid off. So maybe Eric Sekuchel wants to hold on and observe the game for a very few minutes before making any tactical changes. All right, back into the scene of action. It's Nigeria who gets a free kick from a possible goal scoring position after an hard infringement on the Akani. It's free kick. Unduka Jr. sets the ball for Ismail, delivers a cross in, and Ngenge knocks the ball off. The header not well directed by Leonard Ngenge. Counter attack here. It beats past his man. Delivers a cross into the box and the header. Two similar chances created for both sides and not well directed.
Koite.
Great header from the Senegalese forward Koite. Free kick. Quick one from Mustafa. Battle on the sides. Jabbar. Trying to find his escape there. It was brought down. Clumsy challenge. You could see how deep the center forward for Senegal dropped to make the tackle. So, and then when you look at the numbers they have in defensive position and an offensive position, it's something to look out for.
Well, definitely. I think the Senegalese know the kind of plan they want to play, defend in numbers, of course, with the attackers coming to join the defense. And when they go and attack, the attackers are also there. It just tells that the attacking players are very mobile and very pacey and are able to track back immediately. Just look at both players already tracking back as far back as Senegalese have already when they have the ball. And when the ball is back in possession of Senegal, they are out already and in the Nigerian half. So they just have a game and they are moving swiftly with it. And I think that's something I want to see more of Sikiru Alimi and Ijoma in the second 45 minutes.
With 3 minutes played, the second 5 minutes, second half of this game. Okay, we now have a glimpse of Daniel Gumu.
Yeah, of course. We now have a glimpse of Ijabol. Somebody say maybe they don't turn Ijabol to Ijakon. Now, Kon in the set, they carry ball again. But it's crazy, you know. It's crazy that Ijabol is sitting down there and he's not the one standing. And he just tells you one thing alone. Probably when the coach just asks his assistant, we should stand up. And they feel his foreign assistant to stand. So there's absolutely nothing both Ijabol and Ogumodede and Fidese Chuku can actually do about that.
Jabbar, back to Akani. Chuku. Adedayo trying to find the first splitting pass. Genge to Ndoka. Goes sideways. Ismail with a long ball. Header falls to Adedayo. Back to Alimi. Akani picks Ismail. Delivers a cross into the box and it's blocked.
Counter attack here for Senegal. Sees left on the run, allowed to run, keeps possession, strong and pacey. An outburst of pace there. Ball sent to the flank. Samb try to peek. Center forward option. Christian Gomez, who is dispossessed. Great exchange of passes between the defensive line and the midfield. Jabbar. Pass trying to pick the run of Ismail Sadiq. And it's a throw into Nigeria. Jabbar coming in to create more of the overload in order to create a depth of width on the flanks for Ismail to make the counter run. Ngenge cuts the ball back. Picks Jabbar. Delivers a long pass forward. It falls to Ismail Sadiq. Delivers a cross and too powerful for Sekeiro. We can't really rely on one approach of the game. It looks like the only game plan here is to
Find the ball to Ismail and
find
cross
the ball to
into the
Ismail
back of the net.
and get the cross in.
Well, I think that's not enough. That's not good enough game plan for Nigeria. It's not worked so far. The Senegalese understand that our best, or should I say, our most reliable source of attack is on the flank, and they've been able to checkmate that part, and that's where experience. The president of the Nigerian Football Federation there talking about Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau. But we need to change plan. We need to find a way to make it work. Play the ball, and that's where Eric needs to make a substitution. I know. If he's watched 50 minutes of this game and he's not been able to convince himself that there needs to be a change, then there's a problem. Because for me, I think we now need to find somebody off the bench that will change, or probably come in and change something, twerk something differently for these boys in this game, because they've been playing flat-footed. I hope we don't realize it when the Senegalese score that goal and will begin to then chase the equalizer.
All right, back into the scene of action. It's Ismail with no option on the flanks. Finds Akani, who makes himself available. Back to Akani. Turns the ball back. Genge finds Tochiko. Almost dispossessed. What a dangerous one. It was just the whistle of the referee that saved him there. Clumsy challenge from Yayali. Long ball sent forward. Sekeiro looking for the turn. Keeps the ball. Jabbar finds the pass. And there it was, Tochiko, who was struggling to make quick decisions. Rather, Dedayo. Kiote picks his man on the flank. Finds Sis, who's trying to get the better of Taiwo. Taiwo Kudus. Great defensive work. Akani. Back to Akani right at the center of the pack. The flag stays down. Sekeiro Alimi. Edging closer to the box. Goes for the one-time blast.
Finally, flag comes up.
Yeah, the wait and see approach of the assistant referee. Interestingly, he wasn't off.
It was offside actually. I expected a better, of course, body movement from Sikra Alimi. He clearly saw that it was ahead of the players. He would have retracted his step because he had the pace of speed. With Senegalese players, with no Senegalese players close to him, probably did not read the game very well. And at that point, it just shows that maybe, just maybe, if we get a better winger into the field of play, we could exploit a little bit of playing the balls in between the lines at the Senegalese back line.
Great work from Niang Musa. Trying to find his man, trying to find Sis. And the player's not excited as that pass was blocked by the 23rd man at the center of the park in the pitch, who is the referee, as Sis expected that pass.
And the reaction from Inde was just, was just funny.
Counter attack here, Sekiru Alimi edging forward. Can he get the better of the defender? And now he becomes the culprit.
Extremely poor play, poor decision making, terrible decision making from Sekiru Alimi. Now he had the ball in his weak feet, which was his left. Now the expected result for Alimi was to first draw the ball to his right hand side and not keep the ball in a foot where you can strike from. Because the moment you took the ball to your left foot, you can't strike with your left foot. So the best possible position was to keep the ball on the right hand side and protect your right hand side from contact. Because any contact from that spot there, you could earn yourself a penalty. In a way, a player of his experience, I expected much better from Sekiru Alimi to run directly on with his right to goal, and instead he took the ball to his left foot, giving the opponent more stance and stability to dispose him of the ball.
Great defending also from the skipper of the Senegalese side, Sis. And now it's free kick to Senegal. Long ball sent forward. Flicked and cleared by Unduka. Now it's throwing to Senegal. Last touch of the foot of Ismail. Another throw-in. Quick throw-ins. Ganga again. Ijoma Anthony. A great pass from Ismail. Trying to find Sekiru and denied access to the ball. Great defending from Dauda. Back to Jabbar. Taiwo. Kudus. Back to Ngenge. Nduka. Ismail looking for the support. Yes, he gets the pass. Adedayo delivers a cross and it's blocked. Corner kick.
I think better play there from Nigeria. Good movement of the ball. Good transition with the ball. And maybe the best move I've seen so far from the Nigerian side in the second 45 minutes. And just unfortunately for the Nigerian right-hand side, they're not able to find a perfect cross into the box. But with corner kick, they'll definitely take it.
All right, it's corner kick to Nigeria, and it's Tochukwu to take the set piece. Ball sent back. Another cross sent in. Great ball, Jabbar.
I think better performance from the Chanigu so far in the second half. We've seen better performance from the boys, and it's looking good so far And I think whatever Eric Chell has told them at halftime clearly seems to be working for them. And it's just what I want to see from the boys. And I'm happy what I'm seeing so far.
Free kick, I guess. Rather, throw in quickly taken from Taiwo. Find Ngenge. Kyoto pleading for a throw in his favor, suggesting that the ball bounced off the path of Leonard Ngenge, but denied by the assistant referee, Taiwo. Long ball forward. Great work from Daoud Abba. Great skill from the right back. The way this game is going, it looks like it might just end the way it stands currently.
Yeah, I think so. Both sides have been very cautious. Nobody wants to take the risk. Knowing fully well that whoever suffers a loss on this one is at a disadvantage. After the first game between Congo and Sudan ended 1-1. So I'm not surprised, but I think for me, the Chan Eagles must have a go at this Senegalese side. They are beatable. It's clear if the Senegalese get that chance and probably, take the lead, it becomes very difficult for Nigeria to respond. Now that we've started the better of the two teams in the second 45 minutes, I think the boys should find a way to take their chances better, find a way to do the needful, and ensure that come at the end of 90 minutes, we are able to get a goal or a win in this game to start off the competition on a good note.
A long throw in from Taiwo. Ball cleared. And Sis closely marked. And gets the better of Jabbar. Committed him. Wanted to get a foul. And got that in the end. And it's free kick.
I think we also begin to see tired legs already in this game. An hour played so far. And some players are beginning to look like they want to be on the floor and enjoy the flex their leg and all of that. But for me, I think kudos must also go to Eric Chell for whatever he stood the boys at halftime that has made them come out and play better. We've seen a much improved second half performance from what we saw in the first half. It's only lacking of real creativity in the middle of the park and possibly the first goal that could, of course, lift the Nigerian spirit and a possible road to $100,000.
Adedayo finds a sublime pass. Ismail delivers a cross in and not well tailored.
Now, this is where I have my problem with Sadiq Ismail. Now, when the ball comes to him, the first question is, who are you crossing the ball to? You look into the box. There was absolutely nobody there. You cross deep into the box when nobody was in the box. That was a wasted opportunity for Nigeria. He could have moved to the ball,
before.
and then tried to do a cutback. Because, like somebody's jokingly asked online, that aside, of course, crossing, what other attribute does Sadiq have? And the answer is no other attribute. Defensively, he's been a suspect in this game. He's been run through on several occasions, and even the crosses he's delivering, he should do better with it because that ball was a chance that he could have run the ball at his feet a bit, create more chance and allow more synergy for Nigerian players to be in the box before he takes the cross into the box.
Then the player being verbally cautioned by the referee on the hard challenge on Alimi. Quick one to no one again, with Jabbar adjusting into the center of the flank, center of the midfield and exposing the flanks. Secure. In the second half of this game, I must confess that if there's anyone right now that needs to go off, it should be
Ijoma
Anthony.
He's been a passenger. He's been absolutely, non-existent in this game. And I just don't know at one point Eric Sekucha will make that change. We've seen 20 minutes already in the second half. And if the coach still thinks there's absolutely no problem for him to make a change, then he's certainly happy with a result like this. Probably look at himself and say, we got a draw against the host nation. That's a fair result. Against the defending champion, I beg your pardon. It's a fair result. We'll take it and we'll be happy with the result.
Through ball to find Sadiq back to Adedayo. Tochiko Jabbar finds Taiwo, who struggles to control. Clearly Nigeria's attacking strength is from the right hand side. I won't be surprised if that's between Gui and Taiwo, because we've seen a battle of physique from both players.
Both players have been having a go at each other. Two wife when no one leave themselves.
An infringement, and Taiwo is the culprit, and this time down in need of the services of the medic. Kwaite playing a double role, supporting striker and also an attacking midfielder. And when Senegal are attacking, you see him at the edge of the box. When they're defending, you see him drop deep to contribute his own quota on defensive duties.
Well, tired legs already. We begin to see it in this second 45 minutes. And this time around is Abdurrafiu Taiwo, who is down. And of course, Harrison Uzondu is looking like Nigeria's first substitution. The left back, of course, who plays football for Ikorodu City in the MPFL.
But Harrison is a very good left back.
Yeah, definitely.
Has a lot of pace in the back. Would contribute with regards to the attack and the defense line. But definitely would not want to overlap so much, because one of the most dangerous men for Senegal is on the flank.
Well, I think for me, I'm surprised he did not start this game. When I saw Taiwo Afolabi as left back, I was quite shocked. Probably Eric Chel wanted to go very defensive in this one, but Harrison Uzondu, fantastic left back, arguably the best left back in the season last season in the MPFL, and to now see him on the bench speaks a lot about what the technical bench has seen. I just hope that he's able to, talking about Afolabi, is able to shake this and return. Abdurrafiu, I beg your pardon, is able to return very soon and return to Nigeria's second game, because in a competition like this, when the player picks up an injury, if he needs a week to recover or 2 weeks to recover, if the team does not progress beyond the group stage, the competition is almost certainly over for you.
All right, and it's Dawuda who gets the ball. Jabbar couldn't dispossessed, and off the part of Uzondu, who has just made his first defensive input. And it's corner kick to Senegal. Mustafa quite being on the break and not often engaged with any form of saves, where you have Nge and Nduka Jr. doing most of the work. And it's corner kick to the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Great delivery into the box and straight into the hands of Mustafa. A long throw in.
Now the question is, it makes the throw to a player who is not in position. So how do you allow such a player to make a run? It just speaks volume of the lack of communication and understanding in the Super Eagles team. You have the ball as a goalkeeper. You are taking a throw into a player who is as far back as the Senegalese players who are also chasing him. To do what exactly? To start a counter-attack, to become a superhero and win the ball at that point. You know, it's quite funny, you know, when some players do these things and you ask yourself, where is the professionalism? Now, where is the technical or tactical input in this player's performance? The answer is zero. Now, how do you say take a long throw like that when the player you're throwing to is not even yet in possession?
And he's not even expecting the ball.
Exactly. I think Eric Chell has a lot of work on his hands. He has a lot of work on his hand. And I just hope he's able to, you know, find a way to make these boys play to his pattern and play to his strength before it becomes late for Nigeria.
All right. While we have multiple fans supporting the Nigerian Super Eagles, but when we look back at the AFCON we won in 2013, our first two games in the group stage were not very, very, very solid.
But they were better performance.
Yes, they were actually more better than what we're seeing now. But they got better in every game. And so I believe that after this game, we're going to see better and better. Hopefully, we do not concede.
Well, you know, one thing with the 2013 AFCON squad, you could see the kind of performance the boys wanted to give out. You could see the game plan from the coach of Nigeria, talking about Stephen Keshi. You could see what the boys also wanted to do, the Super Eagles players. But in this game, we've seen 71 minutes of action. We cannot speak of what the Chan Eagles have as planned. We cannot speak of the game plan the Chan Eagles are planning to want to, of course, execute. We also cannot speak of how do we want to score the goals. Where will the goals come from? You know, these are conversations that we should be seeing. Yes,
From a potential header.
Exactly. Well, if the crosses are also weak, how do you then score the goals? For me, I won't say that these boys cannot get better, but what I've seen, there's been no synergy between the midfield and the attack. Now, Anthony Joma and Sikru Alimi, after watching them for 70 minutes, have been awful. As far as I'm concerned, not impressed with Sikru Alimi there. With Sikru Alimi, I beg your pardon. So for me, what's so special about the performance? So how do we get confident that we'll get better?
What a big opportunity missed from Akani. Found his way right at the edge of the box and went for the skies in the end. Now, at what point do you think we need to revolve or evolve as a nation with regards to our home-based players? Now, because at this point, all the plea, all the beckon for spaces in the main national team for home-based players, you can't bring players who are struggling to gain control over the ball, who are struggling to make decisive passes into the national team.
So it's not just making decisive passes. It's also players who look like they are struggling to understand the technicality of the game. I'm sorry to say this, but it just shows you the gulf between the NPFL and, of course, the rest of the world. Let me put it that way. Because we've seen it clearly after 70 minutes that these boys are struggling to, of course, adapt to the style of the coach. Now, we've got 8 Remo Stars players, and I'm seeing people make cases for them that Eric Chelsea should switch to a 4-3-3 formation and all of that. But professional footballers should be able to also adapt to the style of play that the national team coaches bring into 4. So if they cannot adapt to it, it becomes a huge problem for Nigeria.
Hopefully it doesn't get too late for Nigeria with 16 minutes left to play of regular time. And it's still a stalemate. Those stats shows Nigeria with lion's share of ball possession, about 57% of ball possession, but yet to create clear-cut chances. The pass, miscommunication between the defense line, the goalkeeper out of the line, falls to Christian Gomez, and it's in.
Now, where was the defense line? Now, miscommunication in the defense line. Ngenge, the culprit, despite being, of course, the best player for Nigeria, but miscommunication in the defense line, not a proper communication between him and Captain Nduka Jr. And where exactly was the goalkeeper coming to? How do you come out in no man's land in that distance when you had 2 players who were chasing? Now look at it in replay. What exactly was the goalkeeper doing in that position? Let's assume the players have made the mistake. You should be back in your goal post. Like, he had no business coming out of his goal line in that particular account, in that position. Come on. The goalkeeper should have done better. Should have done better for me. Poor goalkeeping. The mistake was made already between the 2 players, lack of communication, and they could have made the run. The goalkeeper coming out made it worse for them to be able to do anything, and they came to no man's land. And then I think the mistake should not be on Leonard. It should be more on why Mustafa Lawal was off his line.
Yeah, because even Christian Gomez was not left unmarked. He had multiple players coming at him, and then you stepped out of the line, and then the moment you are beaten, it becomes difficult for defenders to make any defensive input. And now Nigeria will be trailing from behind against the Teranga Lions of Senegal. And great goal from Christian Gomez to change the narrative here.
Well, of course, a goal for Christian Gomez. The Senegalese now lead. And now this is where the problem comes. Panic substitution. Because we want to chase the game. Because we want to score the goals, we begin to make substitution. And that's why sometimes coaches also don't help themselves in glory. We could have done this substitution when the game was goalless to try and control the game, try and understand the game better. But we failed to do so. Now, because we are chasing a game and want to try and equalize, because it clearly shows that Eric Chell had only one plan, probably to get a draw in this game. He was not looking for a win, because if he was looking for a win, there was no business Ijoma and Sikiru Alimi were able to play 90 minutes in this encounter without coming off the bench.
Great cross from Harrison Uzondu, but no one well positioned enough to touch. And it's still unclear why Eric Sukochil has not made any tactical substitution with regards to the attacking line. Double substitution on the way.
They bring in 2 midfielders to, ensure that they do the needful. They've got the goals. They need numbers in the midfield, and that's what the coach is doing, bringing in 2 midfielders to make it difficult for Nigeria to be able to attack.
And then on the Nigerian perspective, we also have 2 substitutions on the way, and that is
Shola Adelani.
Yes, Adelani Shola and Alex
Oyewo.
Or rather, Temitope Adebayo Vincent.
Okay, Vincent of Plateau United.
Young, one of the dangerous man on the flank of Badji and Sise makes their way in. Nduka finds Tochiko. And Jabbar brought down, clumsy challenge. Hard challenge on Jabbar. Jabbar Malik Olasukomi down, and we need the services of the medic. And you see, this is where you begin to look at our youth teams. And you look at where you have young players with flair, young players who are ready to take risk, take the ball into dangerous areas for opponents. And majority of the time, you see, when we play at the under-20, we get to the finals. And now, although we look at the fact that the inexperience is there, but you see, when you look at the attack line, there is need for flair. You can't do without having players who do not really have flair.
Well, it's obvious. I also agree with you. You need players who have flair. You need players who can come in and find a way, of course, changing something into it. And we've not got it. Now, you had to wait the last 10 minutes of the game to bring Shola Adelani. Clearly, look like one of the best players Nigeria have got in terms of flair. And if you are bringing him right now onto the field of play, when the Eagles are down, you put him under pressure, because he wants to impress, because he wants to do what he should do, he begins to do too much. And probably maybe in trying to do too much, loses the ball also. So for me, I think whatever happens today, it's both on Sekuchel and the players, of course. If he comes out to say the players played better or played well in his accent, then it speaks a lot about the man we expect to lead Nigeria to the World Cup in 2026. Because whatever he's doing now is not just a reflection of the Chan Eagles, it's also a reflection of him as a manager and whether he's the right man for the Super Eagles. Because let's be honest with ourselves, even with Eric Chell, the Super Eagles have not been flying. The Super Eagles have not been explosive. The Super Eagles have not done incredibly well to say that we've won matches where Nigerians will say, let's go to sleep. It's Eric Chell. There's absolutely no problem. I will do the needful in it. So for me, I think all of these also need to be put in check to ensure that we play better in our subsequent games.
All right, and back into the scene of action with 9 minutes left of regular time. Sekiru going for strength and is dispossessed. Uzondo Harrison with a clearance. Eric Sekuchel looking confused and provoked.
Just to also add, I'm just seeing where Malik Jabbar, started just one game for Remo Stars last season, are in the MPFL, but somehow he starts and has played about 80 minutes so far in this game. Now, how do you start one game in the league?
You have
38 games, and then you are starting in a CHAN tournament, and you got 8 players. See, again, I will still say it. Nothing speaks well of 8 players from Remo Stars starting in this match. Nothing. It just tells you one thing and one thing alone. It is a squad of Remo and the rest. Because when 13 of Remo Stars players were called up for this tournament, we asked why. I don't want to believe that the entire Remo Stars players are the best players. The best 11 in the MPFL last season had just 2 or 3 Remo Stars players. No Remo Stars player scored double digits in the MPFL. Why is Sikro Alimi starting as a striker? Sadiq Ismail was not the best right back in the league. The best right back, unfortunately, has left the league in the Ikorodu City captain. Wali Ojetoye, he's left the league. I'm probably we understand why Sadiq is starting. Yeah. But the best left back in the league is Harrison Uzondo of Ikorodu City and was dropped to the bench for a player in Remo Stars again. So you ask yourself, the midfield combination is of Remo Stars, even though Leonard Ngenge played for Ikorodu City last season, but it's now Remo Stars. And you can excuse the fact that he was with Ikorodu City last season. But when you've got 8 out of 10 outfield players from one team, and there's no synergy, speaks volume of the level of coaching, in the team, and also what the input Ogumodede is bringing to this squad. Because I'm sorry, if you've got 8 of your players in this team, at least you should be able to say, pick up 1 or 2 things these players will do for us in this game. And I've not seen it so far. And for me, it speaks volume of the level of coaching in Nigeria, the level of players we've got, and also the league has a lot of work to do because it's not good enough for me. This match is the CHAN Eagles will always be a reflection of the Nigerian league. And so far, so good. If they go on to do well in the second and third match, I'll be happy. But so far, so good. It's a clear reflection of Nigerian football on the home front. Clearly needs urgent attention. Maybe, just maybe, we need a state of emergency on the MPFL.
Aside that, would you look at when you look at how we played at the CHAN qualifiers and the fluidity in our gameplay, and then that change? Do you think it's not really about the Remo Stars players who are starting the game?
No,
but a different approach Eric Sekuchel is bringing into the team. Not all players adapt quickly with a different tactic.
Then they should be dropped because this team had about 2 weeks or 3 weeks training in Kene. They've been in camp training in Kene. he had a chance to prone the list to, of course, 23 players. He did it. They went to Zanzibar, had about a week training session, played 2 friendly games. So where is the excuse that the players need to adapt? So if the players are not able to adapt to his formation after all of these training sessions, why is he starting them? Or are you telling me that of the 23 players who took to the tournament, all 23 failed to adapt to your tactics? Come on, it means you're a bad coach.
All right, back here we left with 5 minutes, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria still trailing at the CHAN 2024 right at the Aman Stadium in Tanzania. And it's free kick to Senegal. Really don't know why the game has been stopped, but it looks like Senegalese player is down. And it's Harrison Uzondu who has been booked. Trying to plead innocent there. Because the player will need the services of the medic. Free kick. Dauda back to seize. Long ball forward. Trying to flick the ball over. An infringement spotted. Hard challenge on Musa.
I think the Senegalese are now happy to let this game, go, into the 98th minute, win the tackles, try to force Nigeria to commit fouls and all of that. And I enjoying the pace of the game. It's Nigeria who is chasing. They are not chasing anything. They've got the goal advantage already. 3 points looking like it's in the bag for them. And they now need to find probably a second goal to kill the game from the reach of Nigeria, or possibly ensure the Super Eagles don't score a second goal. Now we are chasing this game, and I'm asking myself, 88 minutes played so far. Anthony Joma is still on the field of play as a striker. Sikru Alimi is still on the field of play as a striker. And I want to understand what Eric Chell is cooking with those 2 players up front. Is he happy with what he's seen so far? Players who have not been able to, the services have not come, but have also not come to the midfield to get the services and all of that. But it's what it is, If he's happy with the performance up front, then he's the man, he's the coach. Or is it saying that the entire of the 4 other attackers on the bench that he's got, he doesn't trust them enough to come onto the field of play to change the game?
Or wants to bring us to the typical Nigerian situation of where we get calculators and we start doing making permutations.
Because what this result means right now is that the Super Eagles are condemned, to either get maximum points.
Another opportunity. The ball's still looking around and it's blocked. Rebound off Musa. Went for the skies.
Now that would have been almost a second for the Senegalese team. Despite the fact that they are in the lead, they are still making all of the attacking threat into the Nigerian box. It just tells you that come on, that was a miscue there. It could have been the second goal. I hope he's seen it. We've got 2 strikers on the bench in Godwin Obaji and Anas Yusuf, and both players have not been able to come onto the field of play. Now that's okay. Now he's brought them in, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Anas Yusuf coming in the 80-90 minutes, and I ask myself, what is he coming to the field of play to do?
A very tough decision, bringing Anas and Godwin Obaji right at the time of death rather, with less than 3 seconds away from regular time, and with 4 minutes,
4 minutes of play. Now, he would have done this earlier. The moment they scored the goal, this should have been a substitution he would have made. Bring on the 2 strikers. Try to put, because you are losing already. The worst that will happen is we consider a second or consider a third. But the best that would then happen is we get an equalizer. But only, well, we wait for, of course, his post-match conference to know why he decided to, of course, keep these players on the bench and not start them and not play them. Probably he's happy with what he's saying so far with the 2 strikers.
And when you look at one of the qualities of Godwin Obaji, he likes to drop deep, be part of the creativity in the middle of the park, and then move forward. A long cross in, trying to find Anas Yusuf, who is muscled off the ball.
Senegalese are happy to beat their time, take their time.
Not the best we anticipated to see tonight.
Well, maybe not entirely surprised for me with the performance. I think the only positive is that we're not trashed. But then again, you ask yourself, the Nigerian league and the Senegalese league, in terms of comparison, the Senegalese league, of course, is not even ranked better than the Nigerian league. But look at players with great composure. Look at players who are moving the ball well. Now, players who are playing to the coach's tactics. And we could see there are some few talents like Niang. You know, you could see the talent in the Senegalese team. But where's the talent in the Nigerian side? There's absolutely no talent. Lack of talent from the Chan Eagles. Playing football in the local style of Barim Buga. You know, just give me, make I play the ball, let's move the ball. Make the ball not just stay one place, make it just they move. And that's the only thing I see. And the obvious lack of talent will become a huge factor. And the reason why, no matter how much you try to convince coaches to give chances to local base players, it will not work. Because where's the urgency? We are losing. We need to we're not making urgency in our play. Now, there should be urgency. We are really losing. Are the players contented with losing 1 goal today and saying, come on, it's just 1 goal, and we tried our best, we could do better?
I think it's not just about developing players to export them. It's also developing players to make our league better and make our national team strong enough. Now, when you look at how Morocco, Senegal, over the years, including countries like Egypt and Algeria over the years, have gone back into development. Look at Morocco, the previous decades with regards to women football. They went back, considered their curriculum with regards to football, and decided to checkmate the development with regards to football. And I think Nigeria, we need to go back to the grassroots. We need to make sure, change the curriculum for developing players. All right, back into the scene of action with 1 minute away from full time. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria still struggling with the bond. And the Teranga Lions of Senegal sustaining and holding strong to a lone goal lead here, courtesy of Christian Gomis. Vincent. Blast. Dedayo almost dispossessed, but saved by the whistle of the referee. Ngenge sends a long ball forward. Flicks the ball. And Adelani tries to...
Now you look at a player like Shola Adelani. He's coming with about 10 minutes of play, and he's barely touched the ball. Because, of course, the Senegalese know that all they need to do is to control the game. They have no reason to let the ball off their hook. They don't want to attack. They don't want to rush it. And that's why they are enjoying the play. And that's why I look at it and say, it probably, maybe, just maybe, if you had come into the game earlier, I expected these changes that, of course, Richel made late in the game to have come as early as the 60th minute when the game was goalless. And as it stands, the Senegalese will go with 3 points in this game and will smile to the bank.
All right, just awaiting the blast of the final whistle.
Now just look at that.
Was that a clearance from Munduka or a back pass? But it was
ignored by the referee. Shola Delani sets the ball back, and it's at the end of this encounter. And at the end of the day, it's the Teranga Lions of Senegal who go home with 3 points in the bag. Full-time scores: Senegal 1, Nigeria 0.
Well, full time is the Teranga Lions of Senegal, the defending champions, who began their campaign on a winning note, winning Nigeria by a goal to nil, courtesy of that goal scored in the second half of a mistake from Gomis, of a mistake by the Nigerian defense line. Was there positive performance from the Chan Eagles? The answer is no. Happy with what I've seen so far? The answer is also no. Can this team improve? Well, only Eric Sekochel will tell Nigerians if this team will improve or not. It is sad, it is funny that just look at NASA on the screen again, that the top scorer of the Nigerian Premier Football League had to come into the field of play with less than 2 minutes to the end of the encounter. Of course, Leonard Ngenge is not happy with his performance. He would have done better for himself, but it's one error, just one error that he made in the game. I don't think he should be blamed for this. Also, the goalkeeper should also have his own share of the blame in this particular one. But Nigeria will now regroup for their second game in this group. Of course, the Super Eagles B team, talking about the Chan Eagles, who will play Sudan in their next game come Tuesday. Of course, Libasa Gueye has been voted the man of the match. We'll play Guinea on Tuesday in our second game of this group. We'll play Sudan, I beg your pardon, in our second game of the group before we then face DR Congo in our last game a week on Tuesday also in this one. So for Nigeria, our next game will take place on the 12th, which is Tuesday, before our last game in this group another Tuesday. So it means we'll play Tuesday this week, Tuesday next week, and of course Tuesday the upper week for all of our 3 games in this group. For Nigeria, after this loss, it now means that we need maximum of 6 points, or at the worst case scenario, the Chan Eagles need 4 points to be able to progress to the next round of the competition.
And like I said, we are now back to the calculator situation, where you're hoping to win and anticipating that the team somewhere else just has to lose or draw with less amount of goals.
Well, of course, Nigeria go bottom of Group D as it stands with 0 points. Senegal lead Group D with 3 points, and it's Congo with 1 point, and Sudan also with 1 point. Stats show that Nigeria had a better chunk of the ball possession with 58.1% compared to Senegal's 41.9% possession. Senegal had 7 shots on goal. 7 shots, I beg your pardon, to Nigeria. 6 shots with just 1 shot on goal by each side. Nigeria completed 396 useless passes, from my own opinion, compared to Senegal's 286 passes. Accuracy pass completion was 70 for Senegal and 75 for the Chan Eagles. Of course, it means that the team will now regroup on Tuesday. They've got 1 full week to plan what they do next. Israel, final words?
Yeah, my final words is the next game next week Tuesday is all or nothing. You either come all out to win or you go back home empty. And so Sukochil has to just go back home, consult the coaches. Because whether you like it or not, at some point, these assistant coaches that are home-based coaches understand these players
better.
They understand the strengths and the weaknesses of these players. And by the time you look at what you see on the pitch and you assume that you know how to use these players better than the coaches who have trained them over the years, you might be missing out on some certain details. So I think the coach has to go back, call his assistant coaches together. They look at the highs and the lows of this match and then make sure they correct them before the next game.
Well, hopefully they are able to correct those lapses before the next game. But after 90 minutes, it is Teranga Lions of Senegal 1, Nigeria 0. And of course, we start our Chan 2024 campaign. Back for gold is what they've targeted. But this one, back to square one or back to drawing board. It's Senegal 1, Nigeria 0. Of course, our Football Temple will continue live coverage of these games. We'll be back for Nigeria's second game next Tuesday. So stick with us as we take you through that game as we take on Sudan, I beg your pardon, in our second game. Sudan in our second game. It will be a tough game because the Sudanese league is a far better competitive league than the Nigerian league, because we see the likes of El Merreikh of Sudan do well for themselves on the continental stage. If they lose, they come home. If they win, there's hope to progress to the next round of the competition. Football Temple, brought to you by Azar Studios.